Check one, check two. Hope you guys can hear me all right. Let me make sure I got my stool set up correctly. We're going to do this again because it seems like more people want to see me make something all together than just my hands. So let's get started. It's an old piece of wood. Came with a dishwasher, stick from the yard, some string from some paracord. You'll see what that does later. This is the can from some pumpkin. Let's go. I make all of my strings, or at least the ones I really enjoy using, out of dental floss. Some really cheap stuff from like the Dollar Tree. It's a strap I made out of some paracord connections. Keep those off to the side for now. This is kind of like a neck body. Helps hold the can in a specific way that I think makes it resonate really nicely. A little bridge. It's a popsicle stick. We also have ourselves, this is a nut I made out of just a found piece of metal and a zip tie. Some screws from just a bits and bobs drawer. Some little wooden finials that I shaved down and drilled for tuning pegs. So let's get into it. We start off by putting this on our neck. Got these two screws. We're going to set them in to start. This thing has gone through so many changes. This is the first thing I ever built with strings. Didn't really know what I was doing, so I've just been going at it for a couple months. Learning, changing. Same way I do it with life is the same way I do it with these weird little instruments I make out of trash. It's never going to be perfect the first time, especially if it's the first time you're ever making something. Alright, now that we've got that on there, we're going to take our can. You can see I've got some holes punched in there, right there on the back. That's where our two connections and strings, and then we have another hole punched right here. That's the one we're going to rock with first. So we're going to put our body and our neck inside the can. I'm going to take the longest out of the 3 screws that are left, and I'm just going to start that guy in there. Alright, just about there. Once we have that mostly tight, we're going to take these 2 screws here and we're going to get them set in the holes in the back. Now, not only do these steady the can on the stick and neck, but this is also where I tie off my strings. So I don't tighten them all the way quite yet. Just set in there so that I don't lose them. And now we're going to put on the nut. This is just a spacer that I found in a drawer. Took a file. I just wore it down until the strings would sit in. I was really ambitious at first, so this had 3 strings. I don't know how to play music, and it's not a very big instrument, so 3 strings was really tough. So I pared it down to 2. And once I get it put together, we're going to try to tune it back into E, G, because those are the 2 strings that I like to play on. Gives me a very wide range of what I can do with only 2 strings in such a small instrument. Now that the nut is set, we're going to go ahead and we're going to put our pegs in here. Just going to hand set it, just real quick. Oh, got the wrong spot. Right. As I said, I've messed with this thing so many times, it's got holes on holes on holes. Plus, it was a piece of trash whenever I got it. Alright, now that that's done, we're going to take our floss string, take a look at it. This is the smaller one. I always like to string up my smallest string first. We're going to slide that up and over onto this screw. I have a little loop knot on the back end, like a lasso knot on the back end of this string. I like to use floss because it reminds me of gut string. There's wax on it that kind of gives it this texture that really lends itself to the way that I like to play, which I don't have any skills. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just having fun. Made a weird thing and I'm enjoying playing with it. So, got the first string on. We're going to slide that guy through, catch it out here, pull it down there. I'm not going to start it on the peg quite yet. I want to get my second string going. This is going to be the E string. The one I just put on will be my G string. Ew. Alright. I want to shout out to everybody over at Squabbles that has helped me get this far. It's pretty cool of everybody over there. I can't believe all the love that all of you have given me over the last month. It's just really, really crazy to have all of your support, and I really appreciate it. This video is for you guys, actually, 100%. Alright, we've got our next string through. Let's make sure that we didn't do anything crazy. Nope, we are good. Now that I have those in there, I'm going to take the little bridge that I made out of popsicle stick, and I'm going to pull these strings back through just a little bit. And we're going to slide that guy right in there. Hold it in place for just a sec. Pull the strings tight against it. Okay. Now that I've got the strings tightened on there, just enough to hold it in place, we'll come through and we'll pull them through our tuning pegs. This one can be a little hard to get through the tuning peg, but if I just give it a little twist and a push, usually I can work it out. There it is. We did it. I like to do what I found is called the luthier's knot, I believe. And I'm probably not doing it correctly, but I go around, under, and through. And then once I'm there, I like to have a lot of string on my peg because it helps guide the string down the peg for me. So I pull my knot all the way tight, pull my string over here. I think we're set. I think I've got enough twist left in my string. Now we're just going to start winding it on the peg. And now that it's gone up just a little bit, I'm going to start guiding it down. Now we're going to do that until we've got it tight. And because I have my pegs so close together, sometimes I'll come through here, make sure I'm not gouging my table out. Make sure my nut and my bridge are both in good place. And I'll tighten it just a little bit real quick. With my multi-tool. That's nowhere near in tune yet, but we've got it tight enough that I can now work on my second string. Once again, we're going to do a luthier's knot, or at least the version that I keep doing, and I hope it's correct. And I have to be very careful whenever I'm tuning these individually, because I'll tend to knock into one peg and untune one of my strings. That's okay. Doesn't take long to fix. And we're not really striving for perfection with this, because at the end of the day it is quite literally made from almost exclusively trash. So it doesn't have to be perfect. Alright, let's see how close we are. I think that one is close to what we want. It's not quite there. I'm going to give each one just a little bit of a turn, and then we're going to cut so that I can tune these guys, because the good tuner I have is also on the camera that I'm using. So I'll get it tuned, because you guys don't really need to see that part. It's pretty boring. And then once it's tuned, we'll start playing it. Let's give it a check. Ugh. All right.